been the stage for some of motorsport's most dramatic moments. A unique all-concrete surface makes this one of drag racing's super tracks, where racers explore the performance stratosphere. But while the surface has good bite, it can also take a bite at the unwary. A capacity crowd is anxious for more here at the Castrol Lone Star Nationals. This fabled racetrack is regarded as one of the premier motorsports facilities in the world, regardless of what kind of racing. In fact, it is so good that the National Hot Rod Association a year ago inaugurated this event, the Castrol Lone Star Nationals. We're in the second year of this event. Don't forget, this racetrack's been here for over a dozen years. We are enjoying also a second race, the traditional date, in the month of October. Today, it's been rather warm, and that's affected our racing. For the story on Top Fuel, Alan Reinhardt.
One thing about Top Fuel all year long in 1998, it has been wild in qualifying. And about the only consistent thing that we can say about Top Fuel qualifying is you really don't know what's going to happen until it's all over. One thing that all of the teams had to deal with this weekend, sun on the racetrack. It has been hot. The fabled concrete surface at the Motorplex is a little slick and a little greasy. How would you like to try to send a car down that at 300 miles an hour? We also had a surprise in qualifying in Doug Coletta. At the end of qualifying Friday night, he was number 1. Ended up getting bumped into the number 2 spot when Amato stole the top, but the Coletta car is running good here this weekend. And the debut of Louie the Lizard trying to hang on to Kenny Bernstein's Bud King. Now that's a wild ride. It's still a beautiful day here as we're racing on Sunday. I want to thank Joe Amato for letting me hang out in his hospitality area and have lunch. And I'll tell you one thing about Funny Car, there's always lots of stories there. To catch up, here's Bill Stevens.
Yeah, I think we may change the name of the show to the Surprise Program. There were plenty in Funny Car. There were some good ones and some bad ones, and none any bigger than the one that involved the driver who won the race in Richmond last week, Chuck Etchells. Get a load of this. The Kendall car did not qualify. His best pass of 5:22 at 288, 100th away from making the field. Now they're on their way back to Connecticut. Del Worsham, a career pass, 498 at 304. He's qualified number 5, and by the way, he's now a member of the Castrol 4-Second Club for Funny Cars. Nice job. Tony Pedregon's got a new paint job. The Castrol GTX car, now the Castrol Syntec car. And it goes. He's qualified number 6, went 501 to 308. New paint for the boss, too. It's the famous Elvis car, nicknamed Hound Dog. The only bad thing about this, the king isn't here to see it himself. Wait! His widow is here, Priscilla, hobnobbing with the drag racers. Probably the only person in the world who John Force asks for an autograph. Well, that's the deal in Funny Car, and now to catch us up on what's happening in Pro Stock, back to Dave McClellan.
Thank you very much, Bill. Bill and Al Reinhardt will be with me throughout this 2-hour program, keeping you up to date with all the action that's going to transpire here on this fabled concrete surface. Pro Stock, well, it had its share of surprises as well. Let's take a look first and ride on board with Scott Jeffrey on one of his best qualifying appearances all season long. He ended up in the number 3 spot. Jeffrey on at a 7:01 at 197. Jim Yates, you remember 1 week ago in Richmond, you watched right here on Speed World when Jim Yates failed to qualify. Well, he stayed over, tested on Monday, found lots of new power, qualified here at a 7:04, good for 11th. Well, the Slick Racetrack Blues caught up with Gordy Rivera in the near lane. Can't describe it any other way, but Gordy lost it, nosed it in hard into the opposite lane guardrail. He brought the car to a stop and was able to get out under his own power. Maybe just a little bit wobbly when he walked away, but Gordy Rivera was A-OK. Lots of bucks up here. Nearly $800,000 in cash, $1.8 million in the total purse when you combine the cash and contingency awards. That's what our racers are battling for, that and the honor of being the winner of the second annual Castrol Lone Star Nationals. We'll have Top Fuel Eliminator round number 1 action when we come back to the Motorplex in Dallas. ESPN Speed World exclusive coverage of the second annual Castrol Lone Star Nationals, brought to you by Midas. For quality service, visit your neighborhood Midas today.
It's the Taxi Cab 500, and we're off!
When you learn to drive.
At Pennzoil,
Here we go.
we make motor oil that performs under the harshest conditions. Stop-and-go driving.
Come on!
If Pennzoil can protect these cars at the Taxi Cab 500, maybe you should ask for it next time you change your oil. Stop, go. Pennzoil.
There's nothing like the feeling of a new car. We bought it. Armor All Protectant. It shines, it protects. It's new car juice.
Want 50% more shine stuff? Get new Ultra Shine Protectant from Armor All. It's the ultimate shine.
Chef Paul of Bowman's makes the best steaks in town, the Herald. Chef Paul is the maestro of marinade, the Herald. Chef Paul's reputation is built on his marinade alone, the Herald.
Chef Paul's secret ingredient is actually A1.
Chef Paul questioned about missing assistant, the Herald. The secret to great steak isn't just for great steakhouses anymore. A1, a marinade, a seasoning, a 136-year-old secret.
You need a muffler. And you need it now. Right now, at participating Midas shops, the famous Economizer Plus muffler is just $29.95 for a limited time only. $29.95, and it's guaranteed. So get into Midas now for a great muffler for just $29.95. Before it's too late.
Thanks to the tuning magic of the Golden Arches Golden Boys, Mike Green and Jim Brissett, McDonald's driver Corey McLenithan is making Top Fuel 1998 his own personal playground. 4 wins at the first 6 races have provided Corey a huge springtime cushion in the Winston Point standings. And if he can continue that pace, a historic season is on tap. And with close to a 2-race lead over his closest pursuer, we wanted to know what the other guys in the class had to say about this.
Well, definitely Corey Mack and Team McDonald's. I call it the hamburger hut from hell. I'm sure they don't like that, but they can be caught. It's early in the season. So we're only 7 rounds behind. There's a lot of racing left, a lot of rounds. They've been real lucky and good at the same time. They're not going to stay lucky. They're probably going to stay good, but luck has a lot to do with it in this sport. There's a lot of teams out there that can beat Joe Amato and Corey Mack, and I think you're going to see that happen. We're going to have us a horse race by the end of the year.
Obviously, we've got to slow him down a little bit. Someone's got to take him out. But, you know, these things always turn around. The law of averages always come back around the other way. He's a couple of races out on everybody, but we can all do better and catch up.
He's tough. Right now, he's running good. A lot of people say he's lucky, but you make your own luck, and he runs good, and that's how he's making his luck. So we just got to get on a roll.
Welcome back to our ESPN Speed World coverage of this Castrol Lone Star Nationals. We're here at the Texas Motorplex near the city of Ennis, just south of Big D, Dallas. And in Top Fuel Eliminator, look at the qualifiers. Joe Amato led the list, but not that far behind the surprising Doug Coletta. And, of course, the crowd favorite, Eddie Hill. He came in the number 3 spot. Doug Herbert finished up at the bottom of the top half. In other words, number 8. Number 9, Jim Head, all the way down to number 16, Vicki Fanning. She qualified in the 16th spot and earned the right to race Joe Amato in round number 1, the top qualifier. Take a look for your other favorites. See where they may have qualified and who they will run in round number 1 action. One of the great races, Kenny Bernstein and Gary Scelzi in the first round action. Right now, let's take a look back. See what happened earlier today in round number 1, Top Fuel Eliminator. It was Doug Herbert at the wheel of the Snap-on car. He was in the far lane. Dick LaHaye, his crew chief. He's alongside Jim Head, Johnny Davis, the Head Wrench on the Head Racing entry. Jim Head won the race at a 4:74.302.
Jim, I know your back's been bothering you some other things. How tough is it to drive?
It's not hard at all. I get so jacked up to drive these things. I mean, I could have my arm broken and wouldn't know the difference.
You get in the seat and forget about everything, don't you?
The day that this thing cackles and I don't forget about everything, I'll quit getting in the seat.
A little bit of adrenaline rush, baby. Here's Corey McLenithan. Can Shelly Anderson be the stopper? Corey qualified in the number 10 spot. Shelly out-qualified him. Had the lane choice. You rode on board on the Parts America car. Fuel coming out of Shelly's car. Corey Mack got a big win in round 1, a 4:66 at 2:97. Allen was there.
Corey Mack, you were pretty close to ending that streak when that thing went bang.
Yeah, I sure was. Boy, it was right there before the lights, too. I looked over to see if Shelly was there, but she wasn't. Ran real good in the middle of the track, and I think that's what got us ahead of her, but we hurt a little bit. But if we got to do that 4 times today, we'll do it.
Forget about qualifying. These guys came for Sunday.
Well, Sunday developed into a first-round matchup between Kenny Bernstein in the near lane, Gary Selsey in the far lane. Both cars staged. After a while, Bernstein did not leave the line. Selsey streaked through the quarter mile at a 4:69 at 310. Bill was on the line and asked crew chief Lee Beard what happened.
I'm with Lee Beard. Lee, you knew there was a problem before the tree even started. What was it?
It had no oil pressure because the crew forgot to put the oil in it.
Short and sweet, guys.
Quick and to the point. Earlier, Bill had a chance to check in on the number 1 qualifier.
Believe it or not, you're looking at one of the most popular cars in drag racing. It's Brent and Vicki Fanning's Udder Car 2. It's a Top Fuel dragster that kind of looks like a cow. Fans love it, and the reason it looks this way is because Brent and Vicki are really dairy farmers. They don't drag race that much, some match racing and a couple of national events during the year. But here in Dallas, they've qualified number 16, and they're thrilled about that. In the first round, they're racing the number 1 qualifier, Joe Amato. I don't know if they're thrilled about that, but remember, last year in Brainerd, they raced Winston Champ to beat Gary Selsey in round 1 and beat him when the Team Winston car broke a fuel line. As we all know in drag racing, anything is utterly possible.
Joe Amato had to be wondering, could lightning strike twice when he came to stage against Vicki Fanning in the Udder car. The Pinnacle dragster was in the near lane, obviously an odds-on favorite, as he qualified, though, about 8 seconds quicker than did Vicki Fanning. Amato showed the class at a 4:76 at 314 miles an hour.
Joe, at 4:76, you just gave up lane choice to Jim Head. Is that a big factor?
Well, I don't think so. The Texas Motorplex got 2 good lanes, and the important thing is to get a win light, and we'll worry about lane choice next round. Maybe that's better. You don't have to worry about what one to pick. You just get the other one. But a win light's a win light.
With the win light, you advance into round number 2. Doug Coletta, how about this? The American International Airways Kitty Hawk car, out of the sponsorship of Uncle Connie Coletta. That's right, Doug's the nephew. Cousin, if you will, of the recently retired 2-time Winston champ Scott Coletta. His opponent, second-generation racer Tony Schumacher. This was round number 1 earlier today, and the number 2 qualifier. Doug Coletta rips off low ET of the event at a 4:62, 312-mile-an-hour pace. Tony trailing in a 10-second elapsed time. The ATSCO power steering remanufacturing car, Burris Racing entry, Bruce Sarver up against the crowd favorite, the Pennzoil dragster Eddie Hill, who had qualified in the number 3 spot. A tremendous race, and the story is told in the reaction time. The margin of victory, 1,000th of a second, going to Bruce Sarver. He ran 4:74. Eddie Hill.
Eddie, with your competitive streak, I know you want to win every race, but especially in Texas, this hurts.
Yeah, it really does, man. We got the car running awful good now, and we're making progress every week, but, boy, I wish the results would start coming. This is very, very disappointing.
Eddie's losing time was a 4.70 400 back from Sarver. Close race indeed in the first round. The surprising David Grubnick, the number 4 qualifier, and John Mitchell's car was in the opposite lane of this one. That's Bob Vandergriff Jr. He was driving the Jersey's dragster as we take a look back in round number 1 of eliminations in Top Fuel. Boy, Grubnick exploded the motor and continued right on until the tire let go. It dropped down on the skid plate on the bottom of the chassis and on the wheel. Watch it on replay. Take a look as Grubnick thunders through, and finally the boom he hears is his own engine exploding. Does a great job in keeping the car straight. He's into round 2.
Interesting, Mac. That was his first question. He said, did I win? Hey, Dave, when you win, I'll come over and talk to you. You don't have to do the highlight stuff, okay?
That's fine. Man, we got our work cut out for us. I don't even know what happened. It got a little bit loose down there in the top end, started moving around, but it was steering and driving. I guess something let go in it. Took the tire out, took the mud flap out, took the headers out, took the wing out.
Can you fix it?
Oh, yeah, we got a great group of guys. They'll fix it. They're really good.
One thing about this Top Fuel Corps, if they need help, they'll have plenty of volunteers, Mac. You know that.
Oh, but the amount of work is just unbelievable. Here's the final pair of the first round earlier today. The Miller Lite car. That's Larry Dixon on the opposite lane. Mike Dunn at the wheel of Darrell Gwynn's Mopar dragster. Like the Bruce Sarver Eddie Hill race, the reaction time tells the tale, and Mike Dunn wins at 4.70 to a losing 4.66. Let's go to Bill Stevens.
Well, Mike, it looks like you nuked it a little bit, but you won one on a hole shot. It's about time. The Luck Bank owed you one.
I'll tell you, I've been beat on a hole shot so many times this year. You know, it's tough. I'm just getting old, so I decided to just get a little bit closer to the tree. Boy, that really helps your reaction time, I heard. So that's an old trick Forrest taught me in caps. You know, they do that a lot. So. Hey, just to get a win for this Mopar team's a great win. Crew did a great job. It was on a decent run. Those were pretty good on the other end, but hey, we got the win. That's all that counts.
Old. He's only 40.
Now let's check in with Bill.
David Grubnick's victory over Bob Vandergriff in round 1 was a costly one. He went 4.78. You know, not the number he wanted, but the big problem was the engine. That's a new one sitting in the car now because the old one pretty much got turned into toast. In fact, come over here, I'll show you. This is the motor that came out of the car. Right underneath here, the cylinder block, bada boom, connecting rod right out of there. And there's another hole as big as that on the other side in the cylinder. You can see the piston right there that got absolutely creamed. When the tire blew out, it took a big chunk out of the canard. This is the bodywork that goes right underneath the engine, and as you can see, this cookie got blasted. Round number 2, if they are ready, will be against Mike Dunn in the Mopar car.
If you love racing like we do, there's only one place to be, and it's right here on ESPN2 and RPM tonight, 8 p.m. on Sunday evenings and weeknights. Be watching at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. RPM tonight. There's no better way to keep up with all of the world of motorsports than RPM tonight. You know, we've had a chance to talk to our racers and ask them many questions, one of which is, why do you love and do drag racing?
There's no second chances. There's no provisionals. There's no anything. You better be on, and you better be on the one time that you go up to the starting line. And if you don't, you go home. You don't get to keep playing.
Comcast Cable Advertising is looking for highly proactive, dynamic individuals to expand our sales team. Comcast Cable Advertising is a large and growing corporation which provides local businesses the opportunity to advertise on exciting cable networks. Our top sales executives consistently earn substantial incomes. If you feel you have the ability and the drive to be considered for this sales position, send your resume to Comcast Cable Advertising.
When the boys of summer take the field, it's more than just about the game. It's about the thrill of catching a foul ball and dreaming of hitting a home run. CN8 is dedicated to bringing the dream home to you with Trenton Thunder Baseball. You'll see the smiles in the stands from the inspiration on the field. Join us all summer from Waterfront Park as we bring you the excitement of dreams fulfilled. Trenton Thunder Baseball, exclusively on CN8, the Comcast network.
p.m. tonight. Monday through Saturday at 7 and Sunday at 12 and 8. Only on ESPN2.
Chuck Etchels drives a Camaro funny car, but he probably ought to pilot a stealth fighter, given the way he has snuck up on the fuel coupe core to take the top spot in Winston points. Sure, Cruz Pedregon has gotten more attention for his top fuel-like performance, and John Force for his so far winless ways. But the Kendall GT1 machine did not respond to crew chief Tim Richards' efforts in Dallas this weekend. So Chuck's 2 wins so far this season won't make up for the damage done by not qualifying.
Welcome back to the Texas Motorplex, and we are here for the Castrol Lone Star Nationals along with a big crowd. We're looking at what has transpired today, leading to final eliminations to get the winner. Cruz Pedregon qualified #1 in funny car competition, as he has so many times this season, with a great 485. John Force second at a 494. Randy Anderson 8th at a great 503. Second half of the ladder, Corey Lee subbing for the injured Tom Hoover at a 505 is number 9, all the way down to the number 16 qualifier, Frank Pedregon. And guess what that means? The siblings are at it again. Cruz and Frank will battle it out in round 1. Randy and Corey, there's the rest of the top half of the field. The bottom half of the ladder finds John Force up against Dale Creasy Jr., and there's the rest with Tony Pedregon and Dean Scusa. We had an opportunity earlier for Bill Stevens to catch up and preview our first pair of funny cars.
Well, you knew it had to happen eventually. Cruz Pedregon and his brother Frank are racing for the first time in Nitro Funny Car head-to-head. You might remember in Atlanta a few weeks ago, Frank got his first round win, and he's hungry for a second one. Meanwhile, Cruz is in the fight for his life for the Winston points lead with Chuck Etchels and John Force. Well, you're racing your brother in the first round. Going to cut him any slack?
Oh, absolutely not. This is a war out here. We want to win this first round in the worst way.
So much for being your brother's keeper.
Tony Pedregon, or Frank Pedregon, rather, at the wheel of the Jim Dunn owned and tuned Johnny Lightning car. In fact, all 3 Pedregons have qualified. The other brother, Tony, of course, the teammate of John Force. The Cruiser, the hot hand in funny car racing today, was in the near lane. And basically went to sleep as Frank Pedregon pulled off the upset of the race at a 511. Tony at a 504.
Cruz, I'm stunned. You guys seem to be able to outrun everybody except your brothers.
Well, Frankie he obviously took a shot out there. I heard his throttle before I actually hit mine, obviously, but I saw plenty of amber. I just did the best I could. But, you know, Frankie's out here. It's his first time, and he's taking a shot, and he's a good driver. But, you know, we're in a completely different boat. They're going for it. They've got no sponsor, and we're just out here trying to win a championship. But that hurt us up there. But, you know, I really don't know what to say. I'm kind of probably stunned right now. But, you know, in drag racing, you can be the big dog, but the guys are out there shooting for it. And we just did the best we could. We just got beat.
They've still got the fastest car on the planet. What a driving job. Beat him on the starting line. Beating up on your brother.
I'll tell you what, I was a little nervous, a little more pumped up for this. Raced my brother for the first time, and second time I won a round, so I'm happy about it for Jim Dunn and all of us. We need some sponsorship help, but we're getting the job done.
He keeps driving like that, it won't be long.
That's Frank Pedregon, definitely a contender indeed of the 3 Pedregon brothers. Here is the Team Winston car, Whit Bazemore with a Mustang. The newest of the big-name runners is Tim Wilkerson in the John Costanza Institute of Technology car. Wilkerson ran good at Richmond and here as well. 497, 307 win. Alan Reinhardt had a chance to preview our next pair.
In the Friday afternoon qualifying session, Dale Creasy Jr. was on a pretty good lap until the burst panel opened up and blew the body off of the car. By the time they picked up all the parts and pieces, there literally wasn't enough to put back together. Now, funny cars are all different. The bodies don't necessarily interchange. And for the Creasys, not a big budget, no big semi, not a lot of spare parts, definitely no spare body. Looked like they were done for the weekend. Enter Al Hoffman. When the ladders came out and John Force was going to have a bye run in the first round, Hoffman said, there's no way we're going to let that happen. You take my spare body. I don't care if I never see it again. You get it on the car and make sure you're ready to race Force in round 1.
And they were, with the Al Hoffman body covering the Creasy family chassis. Dale Jr. behind the wheel. Quite a challenge as Force and his new Elvis car had qualified in the #2 spot. This is a look back at round #1 elimination. John Force at a 494, 312 took a convincing victory.
You got to feel like it's the world against John Force. Everybody's ganging up. Even Hoffman loaned him a body to beat you.
Well, it don't matter. A lot of great teams out here, and we got 2 cars. We got Castrol now, and we got Tony in a Syntec car, so we're really excited. I want to get up there and see what Tony's going to do, but these are all my buddies, but we race. It's war out here, but I'm excited. You can't get mad at Al. You can't get, and especially helping the Creasy guys. They're the best.
John Force excited. Who would have ever guessed? Phil Burkhardt Jr. in his rookie season as a Nitro funny car driver coming up out of the Federal Mogul alcohol-powered ranks. His opponent, Ron Capps. He blew a motor in the 3rd qualifying session, came back later, and qualified with a great 494 for Don Prudhomme. The Copenhagen Camaro goes 492, low ET of round #1 at 310 miles an hour at the far end. Allen was there.
I want the world to see, the camera's my witness, what you do to me when you run 92.
You want an uppercut or do you want a low blow? Well, what did I run?
92.
92. Wow, I'm telling you, Roland told me he found a problem this morning. We were riding the track together. He said, hang on, baby, hang on. And I've tried to explain what it's like to drive one of these things, but man, the front end's in the air, things are vibrating. You cannot explain. It's like riding a bull, man. It just hang on.
He always hits me when he runs good, except that. Oh, I knew it was coming.
Good guys, the squared circle loose down there in the shutdown area. You saw earlier how happy Del Worsham was. He recorded his first ever 4-second elapsed time. It came in qualifying with the Checker, Shucks, and Gregan car. Here as we look back at round #1, he raced Al Hoffman in the GM Performance Parts Pontiac. Hoffman with mechanical problems. Worsham, look at this, at a 504, 302 mile an hour speed. Certainly keeps pace with the rest of them. He advanced into round #2. Finally, here's Tony Pedregon. I've called his two brothers Tony too many times. He was up against Dean Scusa and our Mopar onboard camera inside the Matco Tools machine in the far lane. This again, round #1 action. On a supercharger explosion on the Matco car. You can see the fuel injector laying off to the side. Tony goes a 517, kind of off pace just a little bit in 278. Let's ride again. Dean Scusa blowing the supercharger off of it. Alan Reinhart was at the far end to talk to him.
Dean, looked like it was just cruising down through there and went bang.
I could barely hear you. Yeah, it was loud. No warning at all. It wasn't from being lean. It was just a malfunction. Probably hung an intake valve, but wow, it got my attention.
These guys needed to withdraw from the Luck Bank. They've made lots of deposits.
Got a broken up body on that Matco car after that round 1 supercharger explosion. Jim Epler, your #7 qualifier, very consistent in the 5.0s. Came up against Gary Densham in the first round. Go 495 at 308 solidly into round #2.
Hey, Jim, 495.
Oh, man, I can't believe it. We're in the club. That's what we came here for, you know. Dallas and Easy Care helped us get here, but hey, hats off to Paul and Mike Smith and Ed Margaresh for giving me a great race car, and we're the only ones now in the 4-second and 300 club along with Al Hoffman, I guess, but hey, that was our goal. Now we got to win the race, I guess.
Jim Epler, again, another new member of the Castrol 4-second club. Here's the Randy Anderson car. Larry Frazier on your left, the crew chief. Told the crew there's some serious problems. He was unable to start the Parts America car driven by Randy Anderson, giving a single to Corey Lee at the wheel of Tom Hoover's Pioneer Electronics entry. Corey with a big break here in round number 1. Shaking the tires, a parachute falls out, and Alan Reinhardt had the opportunity to catch up with Corey Lee on a bit of a follow-up.
Just routine maintenance here at Camp Pioneer for Corey Lee's Dodge, but even routine maintenance on one of these cars is a lot of work. They didn't hurt anything in the last pass, but then it didn't go very far. And Corey, as a fill-in driver, is no stranger to the second round. He got past the first round in Virginia last year, also got past the first round in Englishtown. Corey, you've never gotten past the second round. That's what you got to do today.
Yeah, I'm going to war today. I have nothing but Pedregon written on my race car right now.
Frank beat Cruz on a hole shot. Does that weigh on you at all?
No, not at all. I'm going after Jim Dunn. He's the car owner. He's the one I want.
They're going to race the racetrack and hope for the best.
And of course, Corey Lee is the full-time crew chief on that car. Had the opportunity to drive when Tom Hoover was laid up with that freak accident. Did you know? As we find at this racetrack, Darrell Alderman in 1986 made his pro stock driving debut for the Wayne County Speed Shop. We'll be coming right back. You stay with us.
It's like a cavalry charge. I mean, that light goes, and it's, you know, picture yourself on a horse in a cavalry charge. You got to have that same mentality.
You do not have to see the green light. Once the red is up, the race is underway.
You have to push harder every time. Every day it takes determination and focused intensity. Wow.
Is he giving it a ride?
Introducing the Sicilian pizza from Pizza Hut. This ain't no ordinary pizza. It's a date with the bomb squad. It's oregano, basil, and garlic packed so tightly into the crust it'll make your eyeballs sweat. It ain't no Waltz and Matilda debutante cotillion. It's an all-out, in-your-face headbanger's ball. They're having an all-night party in your mouth, and they ain't serving pate. This is the most intense-tasting pizza we've ever made. The energized, kicking the teeth mother of all pizzas. The new Sicilian pizza from Pizza Hut for only $8.99. Can you handle it?
What's my prize? Simple. To create a sports magazine readers love. What's the word on Phil Jackson? Why is Jerry Krause breaking his horns? Dennis, Scotty, Michael, are they completely unstoppable or just totally unbeatable? And hockey, lots of hockey. Print it, baby.
Lately, the pro stock field at NHRA national events has been covered by 0.05 of a second, with mere thousandths the difference between those who race and those who go home. With such close competition, any of the Sweet 16 can take home the goods with 4 solid rounds on race day. The quartet of drivers, Osborne, Coughlin, Grant, and Warren Johnson, have been on the pole, but only WJ has been able to convert that pace into points, as 4 wins have him atop the standings coming into Dallas.
Welcome back to the Texas Motorplex and the Castrol Lone Star Nationals. Along with Bill Stevens and Alan Reinhardt, I'm Dave McClelland, and we're here for the Castrol Lone Star National. Oh, guess what? Game number 7 of the Edmonton Oilers and Colorado Avalanche. How about this one tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Winner take all in the Stanley Cup playoffs, first round. It is Edmonton against Colorado. Don't miss it. 9 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow on ESPN. Let's take a look at the qualifying field headed by Warren Johnson. First time since September at Topeka last year that we did not see a 6-second elapsed time in qualifying. Warren Johnson, the leader, followed by Mike Edwards. Barry Grant, last week's top qualifier, ended up number 8. 9th, the kid, Richie Stevens, all the way down to the number 16 car, Bruce Allen. Here's the way they paired up. Allen against WJ. You can see the rest of your favorites there as you can pick out and see who you want to root for. Mike Edwards qualified second. He gets to race Mark Osborne, already a winner thus far this season. First pair of cars we take a look at when we flash back into round number 1, Pro Stock Racing, is Richie Stevens at the wheel of the Collins Racing entry out of Collins Ostrich Ranches against Barry Grant. A week ago, as I said, he was the top qualifier at Richmond. Barry Grant, the carburetor guy out of Dahlonega, Georgia. BG Fuel System drives the Oldsmobile Cutlass. The kid, Richie Stevens, identical reaction times to the thousands, and the kid wins it. 7:03 at 194 miles an hour. Allen was there.
Richie, you and this car seem like a pretty good fit.
It's working real good. Since we got in it at Richmond, it's been a bad car. It runs good. It's smooth as could be, and it's been getting us qualified.
Now, they've been telling me Richmond was a one-shot deal. Are you guys going to buy the car? Or are you going to, what's the deal?
They're talking about it, and right now, I don't know, because Mike Thomas won't have a backup car if we get this one from him. So they're going to see how it goes and see if he can get the problems worked out his car. He had a couple problems this weekend, but I guess Sean and Mary talked to him and see how it goes.
Still trying to work out a deal.
And, of course, that car out of the stable of Mike Thomas race cars. Here's our next pair, Darrell Alderman against Tom Martino. The Mopar of the Dodge Boys was in the far lane. In the near lane, the Six Flags Pontiac. Tom Martino at the wheel. Martino with a giant advantage off the starting line, but lots of trouble at mid-course. Alderman wins it at a 7:01, 196. Allen had a chance to look at our next two cars.
It's no secret that Jim Yates and his team have been struggling the last few races. They didn't even qualify in Richmond. But if you think this team is dead, I'm here to tell you you're wrong. They stayed in Richmond and tested, found some problems with the car, and apparently got it sorted out. After Friday night's 2 qualifying sessions, they were qualified 4th. The car's been running strong all weekend, and they think they can catch Warren. They want to keep that number 1 on the door at least one more year.
The opponent for Jim Yates, as we look back earlier today into round number 1 racing, was Pete Williams at the wheel of the Marengo Aerial Services car. This the final event of the springtime 3 in a row, and it's beginning to take its toll on everyone. Jim Yates, as you noted, failed to qualify a week ago. Came to the starting line here off of a subpar 7:04 qualifying time. In spades, 6:98, the only 6-second time run thus far at a speed of 196 miles an hour. Next two cars, V. Gaines up against Larry Morgan. Morgan driving the Raybestos Chevrolet Camaro. V. Gaines at the wheel of the Pontiac. Gaines was in the far lane. Substantial win, 7:04 at 195. He was the underdog. Gaines had qualified in the number 4 spot. Mark Osborne at the wheel of the Dick Sherman car. He's already visited the winner's circle this year. Alongside of him is Mike Edwards. This again a flashback into round number 1 competition. Osborne and Edwards getting the win as Osborne left a red light. Bill took a look at a hometown favorite.
You hear a lot about the home field advantage in stick and ball sports. Well, we have home field advantages in drag racing, too. Take this first-round matchup in Pro Stock between Bruce Allen from Arlington, Texas, about 40 miles away, and Warren Johnson. Now, Bruce qualified number 16 with a 7:06, and Warren is up top with that 7 flat. But besides being in front of the hometown crowd, Bruce has another reason for wanting to win this drag race. Last year, here in Dallas in the semifinals, Warren clobbered Bruce Allen. So you got to believe that this year, the man in the outlaw car wants to slam the professor.
Allen, of course, driving for that fabled team of Rare and Morrison. WJ out of the GM Goodwrench Service Plus sponsorship. He's got a huge lead in the Winston point standing. And a huge reaction time advantage went to Bruce Allen. He got the win at 7:01 to a 7:01. He was 0.03 of a second quicker off the starting line. Bruce Allen upsetting the top qualifier in round number 1. On board with Scott Jeffreyon. The other half of the Dodge Boys team out of Dale Ike Racing, his opponent, the Tenneco Pontiac, driven by George Marnell. Jeffreyon used quicker reaction time, got to the finish line at about the same elapsed time as did Marnell. but had a more than half a car length victory at a 7:02 to a losing 7:02. Capping off our round one recap, it is Kurt Johnson and Mark Powick. Powick at the wheel of the Summit Racing Pontiac against the Chevy Camaro out of AC Delco sponsorship. KJ, the remaining hope in round one of the Johnson Racing family. And he responded as he should with a great reaction time and a 7:01 win at 196. Alan Reinhart had a chance to
Had it not been for Mark Osborne's red light, that broken transmission probably would have cost Mike Edwards that first round race. Actually, it definitely would have. And Mike, you know as well as anybody else, sometimes you need a lucky break to win one of these, but you're going to have to be tough to face the Dodge.
Yeah, that's right, Alan. We got a big break right there against Mark. Transmission broke first round, but good Lord was with us. We'll just go out there and try it again.
I tell you, this car's been thundering the last few races, and the way this guy drives, he could win this thing.
I've often said, dollar for dollar and pound for pound, Bruce Allen, one of the best drivers in pro stock, and boy, did he ever prove it in round one with a hole shot beating Warren Johnson. You were overmatched. You're still shaking your head.
Well, Warren's a tough competitor. He's got a fast car. You know you have to run good, and you have to leave on him usually to beat him. He didn't have a bad light, believe me. A 440 light's nothing to sneeze at in pro stock. Warren usually runs those. The Outlaw Pontiac here just made an awesome run. We went 7:01, so that's a lot better than we qualified. We just never made a good run here, so that's gratifying to do that.
He'll need all the help he can get in round number two. It's that kid, Richie Stevens, in the other lane.
Oh, the heat beginning to get to the pro stock racers, but the crowd here just loving the warm, dry weather. We had a chance to catch up with yet another racer and pose our question of the day to him. Who it is Bruce Allen.
And this goes back a while in the 60s, so drag racing was something that I could afford to do. My dad was a good mechanic and really a hands-on guy and taught us a lot. My brother and I were real competitive, so we raced each other. And I guess I never grew out of it, fortunately. And then Buddy and Dave given me an opportunity to come and do it full-time and be part of a great tradition with Lee and the Rear Morrison thing. That just put it over the edge. So here I am.
You need a muffler. And you need it now. Right now, at participating Midas shops, the famous Economizer Plus muffler is just $29.95 for a limited time only. $29.95, and it's guaranteed. So get into Midas now for a great muffler for just $29.95. Before it's too late.
There's a medical emergency, but no hospital. What do? Build one. Leadership. Learn it now in the Army Reserve. Use it now in your career.
Why is America on America Online?
The internet, email, instant messages.
No more computer mumbo jumbo. AOL now offers more benefits, and we've spent over $500 million to triple capacity.
If I can do it, anyone can.
So easy to use, no wonder it's #1.
Where's Rusty going today?
14th century, I think.
What'd you get?
Italian Renaissance.
Nice.
Best Western on Lake Tahoe features a dock with boat rentals. Best Western, across the street from Ordinary.
Unless you're a heart surgeon or a fighter pilot, you don't understand the pressure on a top fuel crew chief. Where hours of planning and preparation are measured in thousandths of a second. And you're only as good as your last run.
Welcome back to the Texas Motorplex as this crowd looking on, the work going on in the pit area. We're here for the Castrol Lone Star Nationals, and there is always something to see or do at an NHRA Winston drag racing event. Let's take a look back now at round number 2 of Top Fuel Eliminator, where Jim Head in the Head Racing entry came to the starting line to race the top qualifier, the Tenneco automotive car of Joe Amato. Amato had qualified in the top spot. He's also got the quickest elapsed time in history at a 4:52. Head went up in smoke. Joe Amato went to the finish line, a very conservative 4:72 at 3:06. Allen caught up with him at the far end.
Joey, you guys have been working on a sunshine tune-up. It's coming, man.
Yeah, it's 72, Jimmy said on the radio. That's what we need to do in this race. You know, the track's hot, and we're just trying to get them wins, and Jim's always a tough competitor, but for Tenneco and Valvoline and PPG and all my sponsors and all my buddies back at Keystone, every time I go home, Alan, all they tell me is, don't smoke the tires. I had a little kid about 8 years old come up to me the other day and said, Joe Amato, don't smoke the tires. I mean, they tear your heart out. The fans, I don't smoke the tires. I floor it when I leave, and all the rest is up to God and the timers and all. And God's riding on my shoulders.
Here is the surprising David Grubnick. Last time we saw this shot, remember, it was scraping along on the ground with that left rear tire blown because of the heat and the engine parts that came flying out after he exploded an engine. Here in round number 2, taking a look back earlier today, Mike Dunn was the opponent for David Grubnick. Grubnick instantly went up in smoke, all the work. Oh, another big blow up. This one is done, and he leaves some parts and oil out on the racetrack. Not quite as severe, though, as was the Grubnick explosion. Look from our far-end camera. You see an instant loss of traction for the Australian and a big boomer indeed for Mike Dunn. Let's find out what he had to say about it.
I got to tell you, Mike, I was beginning to think that you guys were past that, man. Big boomer.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know what happened. It was, it got a late lockup on the clutch. I don't know if that had any effect on it, but it nosed over real bad, and, you know, you're in the heat of battle. I didn't know, you know, obviously I didn't know where David was. I didn't know if he smoked tires or whatever. You just run until it quits or until you see the guy go by, and it quit. It quit by itself, naturally, but, you know, we'll figure it out. This Mobar's running good. It ran good down low. Like I said, got a little bit of a late lockup. Maybe that contributed, but I got a good crew. They'll figure it out.
Lots of hard work, lots of new parts. Corey McClenathan trying for yet another round win and a further extension of his Winston points lead. But he's got a challenge in round number 2. Earlier today, he matched up against Doug Coletta, who has thus far shown everyone here at this Lone Star Nationals exactly what that team's made of. As Corey Mack smokes the tires, Doug Coletta stops the timers at a 4:63 at 3:14. Great run.
Doug, that guy's been almost unbeatable all year. And in the heat, you're supposed to slow down, not run 63.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I tell you, it's nice to be running good out here at the Dallas track. Just looking forward to another round. You know, we've just been taking them one at a time, and the guys have been doing a good job. So let's keep our fingers crossed. So
these guys found something, and I guarantee you they won't tell me what it is.
Bill Stevens took a look at our next pair, which includes Bruce Sarver.
We have known for a long time that Bruce Sarver is one heck of a race car driver, and boy, did he ever prove it in round number 1 when he took out Eddie Hill with a wicked hole shot. Bruce's 474 beating Eddie's 470. You know, we've always said also that Bruce needs the right car underneath him and some lucky breaks to win his first national event. Here in round number 2, he's going to take on Gary Selsey in the Team Winston car, and if that first national event win is going to come this weekend, he's got to get around that red and white automobile.
And one thing going for Bruce Sarver is that red and white automobile, the Team Winston machine of Gary Selsey, is having that sophomore jinx, if you will. Gary having his share of problems making it to the winner's circle this season. Bruce Sarver, as Bill noted, has yet to win his first national event. On the final few feet, it was Selsey pulling out the win at a 478.
You can always tell a good drag race when the winning driver comes around the corner and goes, what happened?
You know, I had no idea. I had to pedal the thing. It started to rattle the tires, and I thought, oh, man,
and I pedaled it, and I never saw Bruce. But you know, with the tall sides on the Team Winston fuel car, you can't see, and you never know. And thank God, man, we're into the semis.
All right, let's take a look at the pairings for round number 3. The final 4, the semifinals. Call it what you like. Joe Amato will race Mike Dunn. In their head-to-head matchups this year, Joe's got 1 win, Mike 0. Doug Coletta and Gary Selzy. That could be an interesting race indeed with the way Coletta has been running. Let's take a look now at some of the cars racing in that semifinal round. First, let's go to Bill Stevens.
In round 2, Mike Dunn defeated David Grubnick with a 477, and Grubnick, of course, as you'll remember, destroyed his motor in round number 1. Well, guess what? Mike Dunn fireballed his power plant in that defeat of David Grubnick. That's a brand new motor sitting in the Mopar dragster, and it's not going to take this crew very long to find out how good that motor is. The semifinals, they'll be racing the number 1 qualifier and the guy that's going to have lane choice because of his 472, Joe Amato.
But Joe Amato won the second round over Jim Head. It looked like a nice, smooth, easy lap, and basically it was. When they got the car back to the pits and started checking it out, they found out it had a spun main bearing. That's the motor that was in the car last time. Now, you can fix those spun mains, but you can't fix them in 90 minutes. So while Joe looks on, the crew's already got that motor out. They've got the new one in, and they're just about ready to take on Mike Dunn.
Incredible amount of hard work goes on between rounds at an NHRA Winston event. Want to remind you, if you're a Major League Soccer fan, coming up next Saturday, the 9th of May at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, it is the Columbus Crew versus the Miami Fusion. Where? Right here on ESPN2. That is next Saturday. 1 year ago, right here, Gary Selzy had a pair of wins in the points lead coming into Dallas, but his mind really was back home in California. On Friday of last year's race, wife Julie gave birth to their son, Dominic, and was the proud papa was Gary when he got his first glimpse of the child. During Sunday's eliminations, Gary lasted to the semis, where he lost the tire-smoking, backpedaling battle to Joe Amato before heading back home to his family.
Crazy Joe Klinger for cable television advertising.
Television has been phenomenal. It's taken a small company and put us in the big leagues. I'm in Atlantic City walking on the boardwalk, and 3 or 4 people will come up. Gee, I see you're on TV all the time. Is that work? Yes, it has. I found that I get lost in the newspaper. I don't get lost on TV. It's more expensive to be on radio. I can be on prime time for $19 or $20 or $21. I'll never be off the TV as long as I'm in the business. It's fabulous.
You ever wonder who works for Comcast? Who are those people you talk to when you call us? Who's that up in the treetops and running the cables? Well, they're folks like you and me from around the community. They might live next door or right down the block. Across America, Comcast employs over 16,000 people, most of whom are just local folks doing a job. And that's probably why they try so hard to do it right, because they're working for their own community. So when you see one of them around your neighborhood, go up and say hi. After all, probably a neighbor.
Okay, so Colby, let me just get this one last time. First I put in the relaxer, then I dry it, then I section it off, and then I put in this sticky wax stuff.
Yeah, Peter, except I don't think you're gonna need any relaxer.
No relaxer, cool, that makes it easier. No relaxer.
Oh, do we have trivia for you? Did you know that Al Hoffman won the very first national event of his career back here in October of 1991? Al Hoffman, one of the strong contenders any given weekend for the Funny Car Honors. The crowd here enjoying what has got to be the nicest day we have had thus far in a magnificent weekend of racing at the Texas Motorplex and the Castrol Lone Star Nationals. Let's take a look back now. Earlier today, round number 2 of Funny Car competition. Ron Capps, who defeated Al Hoffman in the first round, was up against the newest member of the 4-Second Club, Del Worsham. Capps was in the near lane in Don Prudhomme's Team Copenhagen Camaro. Worsham smoked the tires in the Checker Shucks and Cragen car. Capps went 5-10 at 286 in the heat of the day.
Mad thrash, engine change, still got the win light.
What'd it run?
510.
Yeah, well, there's a big thanks going out to our Miller Lite guys. Larry lost first round, and we had a rear main leak, and I'm out of breath again, Alan. Those guys jumped over and saved us, I'm telling you. But we got up there, put some holes out down at the end, and we just need to go another round. I mean, just keep going. And 510, it's getting hot out here, so you want me to keep talking?
Nah, I think that's enough. We got the point.
Bill had a chance to take a look at Tim Wilkerson.
Tim Wilkerson punched out Whit Bazemore in round number 1 of Funny Car, but something really pressing on the minds of this team is the condition of their popular car owner, John Costanza. This past Thursday, he went to the doctor. He thought he had the flu. He was told he'd had a mild heart attack. He's back home under observation, may get an angioplasty this coming week. They would love to win this race for this guy. They love him, and as far as they're concerned, JCIT stands for John Costanza is terrific.
Our best wishes and get well soon go out to John, as Tim Wilkerson, who defeated Whit Bazemore in round 1, came up against Tony Pedregon in the Castrol Syntec car in our recap of round number 2 racing earlier today. Wilkerson went up in smoke. Tony Pedregon with the win at a 5:04 at 296.
I haven't seen you celebrate that much over a second round win in a while.
Well, it's been a long time. We want to do good, especially for Castrol debuting this Syntec campaign. Hilo, O'Reilly's, a lot of people come out here, Action Collectible, and it's been a long time. We've been having a hard time these last couple of races, so especially at this race, we want to do good, and we owed Wilkerson.
Here is the new Elvis car, debuted today by John Force. Castrol GTX machine up against Jim Epler's Easy Care entry. Now Epler, like Worship, joined the Castrol 4-second club. Only 2 slots remain open in that 16-driver field. Epler forced to shut off, the front wheels off the ground, the tires slipping. Look at Force. 490 at 310 miles an hour. Allen was with him.
Hey, John, aren't these things supposed to slow down in the heat?
Well, I tell you what, yeah, but this is concrete out here, and if you can adapt to the air, you can make power. The Mustang truck's right down through there, and I'm happy, too, because if you read the paper and watch Diamond B, we ain't been winning nothing in Castrol, and now Syntec coming on board, they're all kind of looking at us, and, man, I'm just praying to Elvis here, this old hot rod just keep trucking.
The longest John has gone in any season. Quite a number of years without a national event win. This is Frank Pedregon on the starting line. He was to have raced Corey Lee, the Jim Dunn car. Frank shuts it off at half track and goes through. He'll advance into the final 4 pairings. A 5:68 elapsed time will not earn him lane choice as we get ready to go into the semifinal round of competition. It is Tony Pedregon up against Ron Capps. And the second pair, or correction, that was Frank Pedregon. This is Tony Pedregon and his teammate and boss, John Ford. 2 and 2. Well, Alan Reinhart found out why Corey Lee didn't show.
We stopped by Camp Pioneer to find out why Corey Lee didn't make it back for that second round matchup with Frank Pedregon. Here's what we found. The oil pump that came out of the car after the first run, you can see where the corner of it's galled. It actually locked up and broke the mag drive. The mag drive comes out of the end of this shaft. Not a big deal. You just change the oil pump. This is the oil pump they put on the car for the second round. There's a little roll pin in the middle there that's sheared. When they started the car, it didn't have any oil pressure. And with only 90 minutes allowed between rounds, by the time they found it, there simply wasn't enough time to fix it.
Talk about turning your entire weekend around. 2 guys standing behind me can tell you all about that. Ron Capps and his crew chief, Roland Leong. In the first qualifying session on Saturday, the car practically burned to the ground in the shutdown area. In the next qualifying pass, Ron went 494 to qualify number 4. That's the way the car looks now. What a repair job. Round number 1, he went 492 to take out Phil Burkhart Jr. And in round number 2, he got Vidal Worsham with a 510. They'll be racing Frank Pedregon in the semifinals. And the way the Copenhagen gang is running this weekend, Frank is going to have to come up with the run of his career to get the win light.
Well, So, you know, we've been asking our drivers the question of the day. We turn now to Del Worship and ask him, why do you drag race?
My family, this is what we grew up doing. My dad, he owned funny cars and alcohol funny cars, this and that, and that's what we grew up doing in our household.
Most companies that make canopies for our nation's jet fighters look to this oil company for a critical component to make them bulletproof. When it really counts, they seem to be the one to count on. With that in mind, what kind of gasoline do you think they'd make for your car? You'd be right. Citgo, when it counts.
Is your electric trimmer feeling weak? Tired of hassling with that bump and feed spool? Get more power with the all-new Grass Gator electric trimmer head. It installs in seconds with no tools and turns your ordinary electric trimmer into a powerful cutting machine. 2 serrated blades slice through stubborn weeds and tall grass, and blades change in seconds with Grass Gator's patented snap pin design. Rains from El Nino guarantee a bumper crop of weeds this year. Fight back with the Grass Gator. If it doesn't have an alligator on the package, you're working too hard. Available at fine home centers worldwide.
Another breakthrough from the 1 Hour Labs of LensCrafters. New Invisibles anti-reflective lenses from LensCrafters reduce glare, so you can see better while driving at night. New Invisibles, only at LensCrafters. Made in about an hour.
Yeah, Ted, let me put you on speaker. Hey, Netboy, tell my agent what you told me.
Well, if you access my Zone Games customized box score that compiles the player's net worth, you'll see that Mr. Salmon's RBIs put him well ahead of Sammy Sosa in fantasy baseball ranking, yet Sosa earns $5 million more.
What? Can you believe that?
Don't worry, Tim. I'll give Bavasi on the blower.
Of course, Ted, it's just a fantasy baseball.
Shut up, Netboy.
Look, I'm your agent, Tim. Let me take care of this. Shut up, Netboy.
ESPN Speed World on location at the Texas Motorplex of this Castrol Lone Star Nationals. Again, want to remind you, RPM tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time weeknights on ESPN2. Stay abreast of the world of motorsports on RPM tonight. Round number 2 of Pro Stock provided lots of thrills for the fans here. We hope you enjoy them as well as we take a look back. The first pair of cars finds that hometown favorite, Bruce Allen, up against the kid, Richie Stevens, out of New Orleans, Louisiana, moving into Pro Stock racing from junior dragsters. In fact, he even drove a mountain motored car for a while, did quite well with it. Driving for Roy Hill. Now he's the driver for Sean Collins. Bruce Allen doing the driving chores for the Rare and Morrison team, and problems for Bruce Allen. Richie Stevens takes the win at a 7:04 elapsed time.
You look like you're just kind of on cruise control.
This is great. Oh, man, I can't. It's the first time I got past the second round in NHRA, and it feels great so far.
7:04, identical reaction times. Nice lap.
This is great. Sean and Mary are got to be thrilled with this. Mike Thomas has given me an excellent car to run with, and the motor's got so much power in there. Hope we can get past this next round.
They're going to buy this car before the day's over.
The next pair in our recap of round number 2 racing in Pro Stock found Mike Edwards at the wheel of the John Kite Racing entry against the Dodge of Darrell Alderman. A Pontiac versus Dodge battle. Dale Ike, the car owner of the Dodge, standing behind it, looking on intently. Alderman, one of his best showings thus far this season. Watched it disappear, though, as Mike Edwards got the win at a 7:03 pace at 194. Allen was with Mike at the far end.
Well, there sure wasn't much wrong with that run, was there?
No, not compared to that first one there, Alan. That's a pretty good run for that lane, I believe.
At this time of day, it seems like a pretty good run.
I hope so. We'll have to wait and see what the rest of the guys do, but I'm happy right now. Going to another round, that's good for us.
The remaining member of the Johnson Racing family, Kurt Johnson, the son of Warren. He survived the first round to earn the right to race Larry Morgan. Here in round number 2, Morgan driving the Ray Bestis Camaro, the AC Delco Camaro for KJ. Reaction times could play a major role. Watch this one. Kurt got the advantage at the starting line by 300. Identical 706s at the finish line. Kurt Johnson takes the win and advances to the semi.
I don't think 706 is what you wanted to run.
The win light's what we wanted. The 706 we don't care about right now. No, I don't know. It's pretty tricky out there. We probably don't have the combination yet, but the round win, excellent for Chevrolet. Chevrolet's going to the semifinals one way or another right there. Better me than Larry, but, you know, if Larry went there, then it's good for Chevrolet. Thanks.
Jim Yates, the reigning Winston champ, one of the next pair. Bill Stevens checked up on champ.
Jim Yates in the Peak split-fire Pontiac took out Pete Williams in round one with low ET of the weekend. This is the same group, by the way, that we were feeling sorry for when they didn't qualify a couple weeks ago. Now, are you doing this on purpose?
Well, you know, we've had some ups and downs in the last couple of weeks. We had to borrow a set of carburetors from Tommy Martino, and we qualified number 11, but after qualifying, we were able to screw with the carburetors a little bit, change some jets and bleeds in them, and car picked up big time for that run.
They slapped a 698 in the scoreboard in round one, and let's see what they can do against Scott Jeffrey in round number two.
Right now, Jim Yates is the only car that is run in the sixes here in what is maybe just a little bit warmer than the normal temperatures for this time in May. His opponent in round number two was Scott Jeffrey on at the wheel of the Mopar. Yates was in the near lane. Close race indeed. Jim Yates picks it up at a 7:04, taking the win and advancing to the semis.
You guys are definitely back.
How good it feels. I tell you, even the driver's doing his job today. We got a little hole shot there, and Jerry Bickle, Bob Ingalls, Rich Purdy did a great job on this Peak antifreeze split-fire spark plug car, and we're going to the semifinals.
You guys just kept beating on it down there until you got it right.
You know, we're not quitters. We work as hard as we can, and some days, you know, it throws you a little curveball, but you keep on working, you come back and have a day like today, thank goodness.
A lot of testing in Richmond after the last race.
Well, that sets up the pairings now for the Final Four. The semifinal round of Pro Stock finds Richie Stevens picking his lane over Kurt Johnson. They have not yet raced each other thus far this season. The other side of the ladder, Mike Edwards and Jim Yates, and Mike holds a one-win advantage over the reigning Winston champ in their head-to-head matchup thus far this year. Why did Bruce Allen lose? Well, Alan Reinhart found out.
In the second round matchup, Bruce Allen knew he was in trouble before he ever staged the car. As he was going through the burnout procedure, this airline blew off of the cylinder on the top of the transmission. That's the one that shifts it into fifth. He knew he could drive the car through fourth gear, which is exactly what he did, and after that, there was nothing to do but just click it off.
Richie Stevens is having the biggest day in his NHRA Pro Stock career. He's gone a couple of rounds. Took out Barry Grant in round one and Bruce Allen in round number two. He was the IHRA Pro Stock Rookie of the Year in 1996. One of the reasons this car is running so well this weekend is his crew chief. Another standout in the IHRA, five-time Pro Stock champion, Tricky Ricky Smith. Here he is in the trailer pouring over the computer data. Well, they're going to need all of that data, maybe a little bit of luck, and all kinds of performance out of that race car. In the semifinals, they'll be racing a former NHRA Pro Stock Rookie of the Year, Kurt Johnson.
Well, there's lots of history at this racetrack here at the Texas Motorplex. Not only the home of the first ever four, but also, did you know this? That Bob Glidden scored his 50th win of his Pro Stock career. He's got 85. That came in 1986 in the fall here at the Texas Motorplex.
Polaris makes vehicles that can ride the crests, vehicles that can sail away and glide over the whitecaps. So is it any wonder Polaris makes some of the most popular vehicles for the water? Personal watercraft made entirely in the USA. From Polaris, a whole other way to go.
4 tires, fuel, and out the door.
We asked the hottest guys in the pits to switch antiperspirants.
Ultra dry degree, body heat activated.
When your body heat rises degrees, new ultra dry form releases extra protection.
Worked better than my old stick. It kept me dry, ultra dry.
New from Degree.
Renting during the work week?
Call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. Because Thrifty Car Rental believes business travelers deserve great rates on great cars, too. Other car rental companies advertise low rates on weekends. So do we. But Thrifty also offers this midweek special. Pick up a compact car Sunday through Wednesday and pay just $29.95 a day. Call 1-800-4CARS. It's a good deal, good business, and best of all, it's Thrifty.
In racing, there are no second chances. You blink, you lose. You win. It's a rush. Split Fire, the choice of NHRA Winston Pro Stock champion Jim Yates, because performance is everything.
Split bar spark plug. What a rush!
Back in 1997, Warren Johnson, who'd been criticized throughout his career for slow reaction times, left on a highly regarded Troy Coughlin in round 2 and won on a hole shot. 2 rounds later, he won the reaction time war, this time against Scott Jeffreyon in the final to earn his 2nd win of the year. That was back in 1997. It is now 1998, and here we are at the Castrol Lone Star Nationals at the Texas Motorplex. It is time for the semifinal round of Pro Stock Eliminator. The kid, Richie Stevens, in the Collins Racing Pontiac Firebird against the Chevy Camaro of Kurt Johnson, the AC Delco car. Again, nearly identical reaction times, but Kurt Johnson has the better numbers, 7 flat to a losing 7:06. Let's go down to the pits, and here's Allen.
Kurt Johnson in the final round with the Chevy Camaro. This thing is just about ready to go. Kurt's in here working on the computer, so we're going to see if we can bother him just a little bit. Kurt, final round bound. Warren's out. You got a shot at winning this thing, and I know he's been over here helping you.
Yeah, he's been trying to tune us up a little bit. We picked up 600s from the 2nd round to the 3rd round. We changed some stuff on the back end, shocks and springs and stuff, and yeah, the old man, he pulls through every now and then for us.
Is there a 6 out there available in the final?
I don't know. The track condition is still 122 degrees out there. The air's still 2,550 foot corrected altitude. We're just looking for that wind light right now. We don't care what we run.
They're studying the run on the computer. This was actually pretty good. Take a look here. Oh, never mind. Dave?
Well, Alan, we've got another Oh, they took it away from you just like that. Hey, delectable dining, as always, here at the Lone Star Nationals and the Texas Motorplex. Don't forget, hockey fans, it's game number 7 of the Edmonton Oilers against the Colorado Avalanche. That is coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. The Avalanche and the Oilers, game number 7. The winner advances in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The loser, they go home, kind of like in drag racing. Single tournament elimination style racing right here. Let's go and check in with yet another racer to find out, why does Richie Stevens drag race?
Probably because that's what my dad got me started in. When I was probably about 8 years old, we started going to the drag races because he had done it way before he got married, and he got back into it about that time, and it's really what I grew up around.
Research proves that Purolator's new Pure 1 is the perfect oil filter, collecting 96% of all contaminants. Pure 1 has more pleats for superior performance and a silicone anti-drain back valve for additional protection at startup.
And you don't need to be a rocket scientist to tell the difference. Wow.
Kenny Bernstein's Budweiser King Top Fuel Dragster. Who says you need wings to fly?
Recently, no-touch scientists discovered a revolutionary breakthrough. It cleans, it shines, it protects, but more importantly, it rocks! Deep Purple Wheel Care. Powerful purple foam that turns blue to beat dirt and grime. Kicks butt on brake dust and leaves behind nothing but shine. With a protective barrier that rocks on, bro. Deep Purple Wheel Care from No Touch. It's purple, it's blue, it's real cool. Also try No Touch Tire and Glass Care.
We're back at the Texas Motorplex in the Castrol Lone Star Nationals. One pair of cars remains in our semifinal round of Pro Stock Eliminator. And who is it? The reigning Winston champ, Jim Yates, in his split-fire peak antifreeze. Pontiac Firebird, the only car in the sixes thus far this weekend in Pro Stock. Alongside of him is Mike Edwards, driving the John Kite Racing Pontiac Firebird. With a better reaction time, a better elapsed time, a 7:01 at 195 miles an hour. Let's go down to Bill.
Down here with Mike Edwards. Let me see if I get this straight. You qualify number 2. You beat Mark Osborne, Darrell Alderman, and Jim Yates, the reigning Winston champ, and not a beat of sweat. What's going on?
Good Lord just shined on me today, Bill, I guess.
Let's hear it for that rear Morrison power. The car's really running.
I'll tell you what, I can't say enough about Rare Morrison, Bruce Allen, George, Brad, the guys at the shop. They've worked so hard for both teams, and just fortunate that we finally put it all together this weekend.
Sure have. Going to the final round for the first time this year, Mac.
It's as competitive as ever in the engine building department in Pro Stock. So it'll be the Johnson family against Mike Edwards with Rare and Morrison power as we head into the finals. They have not yet raced thus far this season, as the lane choice going to Mike Edwards, correction, to Kurt Johnson with that 7 flat. We're going to see funny cars coming up next. But before we do, I want to point out to you, last year, one of the more dramatic moments ever in funny car competition came in round number 2 when Ray Higley lost a header, then flew for what seemed like an 1/8 of a mile and eventually crashed into an unawares John Force. The Force crew thrashed between rounds, amazingly came back to run a 5:10 at 300, beating Mark Oswald in the semis. It was an amazing team effort, although John then lost to Randy Anderson on a hole shot in the final round.
What do you mean Ground's never coming back? Why does he get to stay up? Where do babies come from?
Did you smoke marijuana when you were my age?
The older they get, the more complicated the questions. Here's how to answer.
Oh no, I forgot Mother's Day!
Don't panic. This year, give her beautiful silk roses that last a lifetime. Forever Roses for only $19.95. Forever Roses are delivered in a florist box filled with a dozen of the finest silk roses and a personalized greeting card, all for just $19.95. Call today and we'll include a second dozen absolutely free, and we guarantee delivery the week of Mother's Day. But supplies are limited, so to order for this Mother's Day, you must call right now.
Hey, my name is Rick, but everyone calls me The Rick. Yeah, so this ivy was growing over the wall at Wrigley, so I grabbed it, and now I'm raising it here in my room. As you can see, it's growing more towards Andre Dawson than Kurt Bavacqua. Now, a lot of people would see this as a case of it favoring a right fielder with a 482 lifetime slugging percentage than a utility player with 275 RBIs. But what they don't realize is Bavacqua smashed into the ivy chasing down a fly ball off of Sandberg back in '83. Ivy doesn't forget something like that.
They are the aerodynamic, artistic 300-mile-an-hour marvels of NHRA Winston drag racing. That brings to mind a most important question.
Why do they call them funny cars? Because they look funny?
I think what they try to do is take a factory car, cut it down and put it on a body to go fast, and it looks kind of funny.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the people that drive them.
Pretty funny that
when they go down the track, they flip this thing up. I don't really know what that's about. I thought that was pretty odd. If you want to get technical, they call them funny cars with the short wheelbase, the slippy fiberglass body. It makes me laugh.
Well, we're not going to laugh too much because we're just about ready to go for the semifinal round of funny car eliminations. And the first pair we're going to see, the number 4 qualifier, Ron Capps, and the Team Copenhagen car. His opponent, the number 16 car, the guy that took out his brother in the first round, Frank Pedregon. Here's Frank in Jim Dunn's Johnny Lightning car. Don Prudhomme, the car owner, looking on intently over in the other lane. And this was a no contest entry as Ron Capps stops the clocks at a 5:13, 2:92. Let's go down to Allen.
Well, the Copenhagen crew has got that Camaro just about ready to go out and do battle in the final. Just basic maintenance after that last one. Ron Capps always popular with the fans out here signing autographs by the ropes. Final round. It's been a little while, not a long time, but it's good to be back, huh?
It's great to be back. You know, we kind of got lost in the shuffle. Everybody says, you know, what happened to the Cope guys? But we've been struggling. It's been a 3-race swing, and anytime you do that, I mean, the crew chief earns his keep. I mean, you go one track could be 3,000-foot altitude, and you go to the next one could be 1,000. So these guys have worked their tails off. I'm glad that we kind of figured out. We've gotten lucky today too. So I got to throw that in.
The sun has turned this into a tricky racetrack.
Yeah, and that's why these guys, you know, Roland gets paid the big money, I guess. It's just, it's part of the whole deal. You know, if we went to a perfect condition, perfect track every time, it wouldn't be any fun. So it kind of throws it at it. Force has been tough all day, and, you know, Tony's running good. So, you know, you just never know. You go up there and anything can happen. Look what happened to Frank and Cruz. You know, anything can happen. It's drag racing.
They'll be ready for the final. No doubt about that, Mac.
Well, no doubt about the fact that John Force has been the talk of the pit area with the performance we've seen out of his brand new Elvis Mustang. Anything can happen. That funny car semi will be up next. Coming up on ESPN2 next Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, it is Major League Soccer. The Columbus Crew and the Miami Fusion do battle on the soccer field, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Be tuned, won't you? Right here on ESPN2. Again, we get a chance to go to a racer and ask Cruz Pedregon, why does he drag race?
Well, drag racing, we were exposed to that at an early age, but even when we were exposed to other types of racing cars, there's nothing like the sound of these things, and I hear a lot of people talk about it. Just the sound and the way the machine moves. Man has created one heck of a hot rod in these drag race cars, that's for sure.
You need a muffler. And you need it now. Right now at participating Midas shops, the famous Economizer Plus muffler is just $29.95 for a limited time only. $29.95, and it's guaranteed. So get into Midas now for a great muffler for just $29.95. Before it's too late.
Rusty, it's a woodchuck and he's hurt. Rusty, it's up to you.
On May 8th,
we've discovered 2 comets.
The countdown to impact.
They're both headed for Earth.
Will begin. Deep Impact, rated PG-13, starts Friday, May 8th, in theaters everywhere.
Now from the KYW Storm Center, these school announcements. 461, 2 hours late in the morning kindergarten. 503 is closed. 505.
Once again, we have a question and an answer for you. 3 drivers, Mike Dunn, Don Prudhomme, and Ed McCulloch. Did you know they all won both Top Fuel and Funny Car titles at this track? the Texas Motorplex. And we are here this day, as well as a huge crowd on hand for this, the Castrol Lone Star Nationals. Time now for the other half of the semifinal round of Funny Car Eliminator. And here is the all-new Elvis Presley Mustang, the Castrol car. Here is the new Castrol Syntec car. The all-black Syntec machine, driven by Tony Pendragon. John Force, who else, wheeling the Castrol car that has Elvis Presley's likeness on its hood. Force with the lane choice. He's been the class car of eliminations. And as Tony goes up in smoke off the starting line, Force goes a 493 at 313 to go into the finals. Let's go down to Bill Stevens.
That is the engine in John Force's Castrol Elvis car. And boy, you got the new body. Priscilla was here this weekend. Now, what are we missing? What's the one thing left to do?
Well, we'd like to win, and I call it the Austin Coyle Bernie Federley car and John Medlin, because they really worked hard to make this car consistent. It's finally back to where it belongs. And yeah, we're overdue for a win, but I really want to thank the fans, mostly, that have really supported me and stood behind us on this deal till we could recover.
Let me see. What's that track going to be like?
I think it's going to be good. You know, we run 90s all day, and Ron Capps, he knows how to run, so it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good final round. That's what the fans like to see. Win or lose, we want to lose for Vistion and All-Pro and Mac Tool and Ford and everybody, but right now, we want to give the fans a good race. That's what they bought a ticket for. That's what we're going to do.
And tomorrow is the champ's birthday. Mac?
Well, good racing is what we're looking for, and the lane choice will go to John Force in a head-to-head matchup thus far this year. John has defeated Ron one time, so we'll see if maybe Ron Capps might be able to square it here in just a few moments when we get to the finals of Funny Car. Top Fuel semifinal racing coming up next. Some great races there. Joe Amato against Mike Dunn, Doug Coletta, and Gary Selsey. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Most of the world's major airlines rely on this oil company for fuel. With that in mind, what kind of gas do you think they'd make for your car? You'd be right. Citgo, when it counts.
Another breakthrough from the 1 Hour Labs of LensCrafters. New Invisible's anti-reflective lenses from LensCrafters reduce glare, so you can see better while driving at night. New Invisibles, only at LensCrafters. Made in about an hour.
Seems I'm late for our little reception. No worries. I'm driving this new Subaru Outback. Shortcut. It's got full-time all-wheel drive, like my other Outback, so I can take it almost anywhere, like my other Outbacks. In fact, there's only one difference, really. Matilda. It's got this stylish rear end to go with her.
Nice trunk.
The all-new Outback Sport Utility Sedan from Subaru.
I'm Ironhead Hayward, and I challenge you to try Zest Deodorant Body Wash.
But Ironhead, what's with this thingy?
That lather builder works with Zest Body Wash to give you twice the fresh-smelling lather of this bar, and it rinses cleaner.
But Ironhead...
Oh, quit crying and try it for a week. If Zest Body Wash doesn't give you cleaner, more refreshed skin than these, call 1-888-BEST-LATHER, and they'll buy you a bar of yours.
Zest Body Wash. Get cleaner, more refreshed.
Get zestfully clean.
Well, drag race, you get more acceleration than you do with anything else. And I've been a G freak all my life, and I love that adrenaline rush when that thing, you know, really bends you back and keeps you going. And with drag races, we have the better, best power to weight ratio of anything going. You know, in fact, everything else seems like slow motion.
They are truly the fastest accelerating cars in the world, the Top Fuel dragsters, and Eddie Hill voicing his opinion as to why he drag races. Top Fuel semifinal round coming up next, and it'll be Joe Amato and Mike Dunn. Going into this matchup, Amato had a 472 in the previous round, and in round one ran 476. Meantime, Mike Dunn had a 470 in the first round and a 477 in the second. Amato held lane choice here in the semifinal round, selected the lane nearest the camera. Remember, just a round earlier, Dunn had that big engine explosion and a flash of fire out at the finish line. 472 to a losing 474. Joe Amato into the finals. Here's Alan.
Work just about complete on Joe Amato's Top Fuel car as he gets ready for the final round. And if this looks familiar, I was here about 90 minutes ago having lunch. Joe, you made it to the final last week, came up a little bit short. You made it to the final again. The car's running well. Your warm weather tune-up seems to be here.
Yeah, Jimmy Proc's doing a real good job. You know, getting to the final 2 weekends in a row is what we're looking for. That's how you win world championships. You got to have a steady, consistent car. If we don't win this weekend, we're going to have to bring Tom Evans, the President Tenneco, back to Englishtown, and maybe he's our good luck charm to get us over the hump for that final.
3 races in 3 weeks is tough on everybody, but if you do well, you could be a big swing.
Yeah, it's helped us a lot. We came up in the second place in the points. Jimmy Proc and the guys said going into this 3-race swing, last year we stumbled and we didn't do good at all, and we lost a lot of momentum. So this year we made a vow we're going to try and get down these slippery tracks. Hopefully this will take this Tenneco, Valvoline, Keystone Top Fueler into the final part of the season, the next 15 races, and give us some momentum in the hot weather. That's the difference. What last year we fumbled through the hot weather, we didn't win the championship. This year we're going to try real hard to do that.
And Joe told me after the race, I could stop back by and have dinner. If he wins, it's steak. If he loses, cheeseburgers.
Hey, Alan, you're eating. What are you worrying about? It's on Joe besides. Well, one of our semifinalists is Joe Amato, or one of our finalists, rather. We're going to have the other side of the ladder. And the surprising Doug Coletta and Gary Scelzi. What a race that is. Did you know this? It was Gary Scelzi driving a top alcohol funny car at this track in 1992 when he visited the winner's circle. Gary will be coming up next.
A deadly asteroid. A radioactive dinosaur. Another deadly asteroid. Whatever. This summer, if you're looking for danger, excitement, and adventure, X marks the spot. The X Games, a Mountain Dew production.
Tonight, the world is full of light, with suns and moons all over the place. Tonight,
Let's just be friends. Tonight, there's only you tonight.
4 tires, fuel, and out the door.
We asked the hottest guys in the pits to switch antiperspirant.
Ultra dry degree, body heat activated.
When your body heat rises degrees, new Ultra Dry form releases extra protection.
Worked better than my old stick.
It kept me dry. Ultra dry.
New from Degree.
Who always greets you warmly and asks so little in return? The folks at Red Roof Inns. A genuine smile, a clean, comfortable room, and a great rate. Dogs have no concept of money, no pockets. Red Roof Inns, nice people, and an honest value.
If there is a certainty in the state of Texas, is that these fans just love motor racing. And most particularly, they get enthused about NHRA Winston competition. They're seeing the very best here this weekend with the second annual running of the Castrol Lone Star Nationals at the fabled Texas Motorplex near the city of Ennis, just south of Dallas. Everybody's waiting for the semifinal round of competition in Top Fuel Eliminator, which will match the reigning Winston champ, Gary Scelzi, against the surprise of Top Fuel Racing. That man, Doug Coletta, coming out of the sprint car, midget car ranks, where he was a champion indeed, a great driver, made the transition to Top Fuel when his cousin, Scott Coletta, decided to retire after picking up 2 Winston championships and a myriad of event titles. Scott's dad, Connie, continues to back the car through American International Airways and Kitty Hawk as the Team Winston dragster driven by Gary Scelzi. That's Ed McCulloch, the crew chief, calmly walking away from the Coletta car. Scelzi using Alan Johnson horsepower. tries to stay with Coletta, but can't do it. Coletta at a 463. And look at Ed McCulloch. Is he happy? Let's go down and check in the pits with Bill.
Well, a clean race car is a fast race car. Doug Coletta, all the other guys in the class want to know, are there any more Colettas after you?
No, just Scott's son. I'm sure he'll be running junior dragsters at some point in his career.
How did that 63 feel?
Real good. The cars were running holds good, and just happy to be in it.
This guy over here has a lot to do with it, the crew chief, Ed the Ace McCulloch. You knew this was going to happen at some point, didn't you?
Oh, I had all the confidence in the world that when we got our act together, when we put a good enough car under Dougie to win, we were going to win.
What about a guy like him coming out of a sprint car and going to a Top Fuel final so soon?
Well, we would have liked to have done it the first race, and I know Dougie would have also, but, you know, it's a whole new learning curve, and every race we go to, Doug's getting better, and we haven't really had a good enough car at the last few races to do well, but we've got our act together here. The thing's running well and not hurting it, you know, badly. Doug's doing a great job driving, and hopefully we can get around the motto here in the final.
I don't want to put any more pressure on you, but in the final you're going against a 5-time Winston champion.
Yeah, I've been watching all these guys for a long time, so it'd be real nice to beat them.
You think you're going to need a 63 or better in the final?
I'm not real sure. Well, it's starting to cool off a little bit, so it's probably going to take that.
These guys are really cool. Watch out in this final round. Snoopy may get a kick in the butt, Mac.
Well, I will tell you, Ed McCulloch is the master of understatement. He comes into this final round with his driver, Doug Coletta, having lane choice. The slowest elapsed time for Coletta during eliminations, a 4:63. We'll be seeing that final round when we come back in just a little bit. But 1 year ago today, Joe Amato was again in the final round. His opponent was Larry Dixon. Dixon driving the Don Prudhomme car. Don't forget, this is 1997. Jimmy Bronk going through the same routine with his driver, Joe Amato. Amato just drove away from Dixon with a 4:63, 316-mile-an-hour win. And the fans sitting on pins and needles waiting here for the finals in Pro Stock, Funny Car, and Top Fuel. They'll be coming up in just a few moments here at the Texas Motorplex and this Castrol Lone Star National. Who better to ask the question of why do I drag race? About Joe Amato.
And I was taken to the U.S. Nationals when I was a real youngster, and I saw Don Garland do that. And I said, I want to do that someday, and the rest is all in the record books.
All right, don't you go away. These fans are not, because the finals of the Castrol Lone Star Nationals are coming up next here on ESPN Speed World.
So you're all set to order a great new movie on Comcast Home Theater pay-per-view. Well, here's two things to remember. One, you've got to have an addressable converter box. And two, your home phone number has to be listed in our files. So call us and make sure we have your correct home phone number. Then you're all set to order pay-per-view. You've got hit movies and big events that you can order toll-free. Just check out the schedule on the Comcast Home Theater Previews channel. Comcast Home Theater pay-per-view. You've got it, because you've got Comcast.
You're invited to expect more from television with In Focus on Ovation. Documentaries that give you an inside view of the arts from cultures across the globe. Isn't it time to expect more? Ovation, the Arts Network.
Simple. To create a sports magazine readers love. What's the word on Phil Jackson? Why is Jerry Krause breaking his horns? Dennis, Scotty, Michael, are they completely unstoppable or just totally unbeatable? And hockey, lots of hockey. Print it, baby.
A lot of the speed equipment on a Pro Stock engine looks familiar to you if you've ever monkeyed with a motor. Total value of this deal, 1,300 horsepower. And that's because the parts are bigger. So do yourself a favor. Hang on, Sparky.
You hang on, because we're ready for the finals of Pro Stock Eliminator here at the Castrol Lone Star Nationals at the Texas Motorplex. you're looking on at a Camaro Chevrolet driven by Kurt Johnson. His opponent, the John Kite Racing Pontiac Firebird. Mike Edwards at the wheel. Remarkable performances as Mike Edwards rebounded from an up-and-down season thus far to come in the #2 qualifying spot. Kurt Johnson had qualified 5th. The top dog, W.J. Kurt's dad, went out in round number 1. Let's go down now to Bill Stevens. What's happening there, Bill?
You know, Mac, of all the Pro Stock finals we've had this year, this may be the toughest one to call. They're both low 7-second cars. Both of these guys are terrific drivers, but I hate to say it, I think Mike Edwards might have the advantage. If he cuts one of those low 400 lights, it could be Kurt Johnson, pick up the white courtesy phone. Your ride just left. Alan?
Well, I'd like to say ditto, but I'll give you a little more than that. Mike Edwards last week told me, I am going to win this race. I feel good, I'm going to win it, and then got beat on a hole shot. He is on a mission this weekend. I agree with Bill Stevens. I think whoever leaves the starting line first is going to win the race. It's too close to call. Mac?
If hard runs make wear and tear on a race car, there is one slight advantage that goes to Mike Edwards, and it goes all the way back to round number 1 when he got a big break. Mark Osborne red lit against him, and Mike just sort of coasted through at a pace of 8.81. He then went on to win in round number 2 over Darrell Alderman. The lane choice here in the final round, though, goes to Kurt Johnson. He's in the near lane. Mike, he did it just like Bill Stevens predicted, drilled Kurt on the starting line. He won with a 7:02 to a losing 7:01. Mike Edwards a couple of hundredths of a second quicker at the start than Kurt Johnson. So Mike Edwards into the winner's circle. Let's go down to Bill Stevens and the winning crew chief.
It's the other Mike, Mike Elliott. That was a beauty.
That was quite a run. Mike's done a heck of a job today. Rear Morrison Power, Don Ness race car. What a happy day.
Happy team all the way around.
Oh, for the John Kite Racing Team, John Kite passed away during the off-season. He set up a fund for enough money for his wife, Mary Lou, to continue racing, and here we find Mike Edwards, the winner of this Lone Star Nationals. Let's live it again. Watching the far lane, you could perceptibly see the advantage gained by the white car. The Pontiac of Mike Edwards. He kept it right in the center of the lane, as did Kurt Johnson. No problem with traction here. It was that starting line advantage, though, that paid off at the finish. There was the margin of victory, and we measure this one in just inches. Back at the starting line, what was the reaction? Celebration time, and I'm sure it's going on down there with Alan Reinhardt.
Mike Edwards is a happy man. You told me a week ago, I feel like I'm going to win, and that didn't work out, and you got this one on a hole shot.
I'll tell you what, Alan, we worked so hard, the team. Mary Lou Kite, I can't say enough. We lost our hero at the first year. Everybody knows about John. I tell you what, she's been so strong through all this and just let me live my dream that me and John started. And I tell you what, this whole team, Mike Elliott, Barry Forster, my wife, Rare Morrison, Bruce Allen, all the guys at their shop. Most of all, I thank God for this day.
And he's got a trophy right here. John Skaggs from Hilo O'Reilly Auto Parts presenting the trophy to our Pro Stock champion, Mike Edwards. What a day they had. What do you think, Mac?
I think that the win by Edwards, particularly with the Rare and Morrison power plant, certainly shakes up the troops just a bit. A little bit of shuffling in the Pro Stock points as Jim Yates went out in the semifinal round, and Warren Johnson continues to hold a substantial lead. There's the remainder of the top 5. Now 7 races completed for the Pro Stock out of the 22 events. So Mike Edwards, congratulations to you, to Mary Lou Kite, the entire kite racing team. Hey, thumbs up to you and a great job indeed. Don't anybody go away. Why? Because funny cars coming up next from the Texas Motorplex.
We live in a world where the curbs in the road are not laid down before you. The curbs are wherever you decide they are. And there are no lines painted to tell you where to go. And that which is solid and that which is liquid find a way to live together and play together. Yamaha, solid thinking for a liquid world.
The all-new Grassgator 4-line power head will instantly turn your trimmer into a powerful cutting machine. Forget bump and feed spool trimmers. They're a hassle, wasting time and energy. The Grassgator 4-line head performs better than ordinary 2-line heads. And look how easy it is to install. Changing line is a snap. Simply thread it through and you're ready to go. Look how great the Grassgator 4-line power head eats through this tall grass. If it doesn't have an alligator on the package, you're working too hard. Available at fine home centers worldwide.
You need a muffler. And you need it now. Right now, at participating Midas shops, the famous Economizer Plus muffler is just $29.95 for a limited time only. $29.95, and it's guaranteed. So get into Midas now for a great muffler for just $29.95. Before it's too late.
Randy Anderson came to Dallas last May fresh from his first national event win in Atlanta. But the fact that he inherited the win after John Force had problems bothered him. So at the Motorplex, he went out and personally disposed of both Castrol cars, including a big hole shot win over John Force in the final. Well, guess who's in the final this year? John Force, trying for his first win of the 1998 season. It is hard to believe indeed that the 7-time Winston champion has yet to win a race this year. His opponent, the amazing Ron Capps. After the fire and engine explosion in qualifying, the team has rebounded remarkably. Capps in the first round had a 4:92 elapsed time, but he's slowed since then, been in the low 5. While John Force has done nothing but click off 490s with that brand new Elvis Presley Ford Mustang out of Castrol. Round number 1, John had a 494. Round number 2, a 490. He earned lane choice in the final with a 493. Here comes Elvis and John.
As they back up from the burnout, I can't help but think that John and Elvis and the Castrol gang have been so strong today, they may be unstoppable. Of course, if Ron Capps wins, he's going to mug me. He always mugs me when he wins. But I think today, Force has the better car.
Ron Capps has had the kind of a day that this team has been getting used to ever since they seem to have found their problem. And that's going to be the key to this race. If they run the kind of race we know they can take care of John Force. But there's a little voice inside of my head saying, tire smoke, tire smoke. I think the car that makes the cleanest pass is going to win this one.
I'd have to agree with you, Bill Stevens, because we have watched John himself fall victim to it in the final round several times this season. As the elusive traction barrier sometimes just gets shredded by those huge 17-inch wide tires. The crew underneath the new Elvis paint scheme doing their work. John sitting there as he has thousands of times before. Roland Leong, he walks away, takes the same number of steps. He'll put his hand behind his back and stand there and watch. I wonder how many times he's done that. The work of the crew is all over. It's up to Ron and John to see who's going to win. The aura of invincibility just got destroyed. Ron Capps, 496 at 292 miles an hour, and as he has several times thus far this year, John Force losing traction. Let's go down to the starting line. Here's Bill.
Roland Leong, you've been chasing that greased pig all weekend, and I think you caught it.
Well, we hope so. We had a lot of trouble last 2 weekends, and
been a lot of sleepless nights and hives and rash and everything going, and we finally caught it the last round. We had troubles today. The whole team came through, including Ron, and here we are.
A very, very big win for this team. Let's take another look at that run.
As we watch this in replay, I want you to note particularly the starting line. Nearly identical reaction times, 0.08 of a second was the only advantage, and it went to Ron Capps. They know it's going to be a happy time tonight as Alan Reinhart is caught up with our funny car winner.
Ron Capps, even with the bang, 496. What a lap.
496? We've been struggling all day, and I don't want to ruin anything for John Force, man. He's done a great job for Silas here, the whole thing. But I'll tell you what, we found it. We ran a 94 in qualifying, 92 first round. Rolling, what can I say about this guy, man? Every time he says, hang on, he means it, man. To beat John Force, he's the champ. He's the best there is out here. It doesn't get any better. I'm his #1 fan. It does not get any better than this.
I'm scared to death because I know what's coming now.
Oh, look at this. He took him down. Hey, it's like spring training or something, guys. As John Force and Ron Capps celebrate, Alan Reinhart will be trying to pick himself up for the finals of Top Fuel. Who knows what's going to happen? John Force, he's got the points lead, and Ron Capps is right behind him. Chuck Etchell's held it for a week. He's been bumped down to 3rd. Cruz Petricon all the way to 4th, and Tim Wilkerson is 5th. If Alan Reinhart can talk, what do you have to say?
Well, first, I got to say, I think I could take Capps if I wasn't wearing all this equipment. Secondly, John Force, still a little short of the winner's circle, but not a bad day for the Elvis ride.
No, a good weekend. Debuted this car along with the Castrol Syntec car. We had a good outing, Tony and myself, and we're excited with Vistion and Ford on board with us, Mac Tool and All Pro bumper to bumper. But bottom line, we wanted to win. We knew that those guys could step up, and we stepped on it a little bit and just overpowered the track. But I hear we moved into the points lead. I haven't been there in a while, so we're leading with a bunch of NHRA Winston money, so can't beat that.
And a smile on his face. You know, Mac, I just found out Ron Capps got my wallet.
Well, knowing your wallet, there's not much to lose. Here is Joe Amato in the Tenneco Dragster. His opponent, Doug Coletta, the surprise of Dallas. How about this? It's the Top Fuel final, and it'll be yours when we come back.
The momentum is shifting in this one.
Dude, get down. It's my chair. Let's go. I'm not playing games.
Okay, here we go again.
Oh, dude.
He's got him right where he wants it. Just a bit outside.
Hey, those dog obedience classes really paid off.
Most companies that make canopies for our nation's jet fighters look to this oil company for a critical component to make them bulletproof. So what kind of gasoline do you think this company would make? You'd be right. Citgo, when it counts.
Another breakthrough from the 1 Hour Labs of LensCrafters. New Invisibles anti-reflective lenses from LensCrafters reduce glare, so you can see better while driving at night. New Invisibles, only at LensCrafters. Made in about an hour.
This is ESPN Speed World, and we are at the Texas Motorplex. One race remains. The final for Top Fuel Eliminator, and the question on everybody's mind, can the dream of Doug Coletta be lived just one more race? His opponent is Joe Amato, the defending champion. You saw just a little bit earlier how Amato took the title over Larry Dixon 1 year ago. Doug Coletta in his rookie season at the wheel of the Top Fuel Dragster has been the class of this field throughout elimination.
You know, gentlemen, I had a chance to talk to Joe Amato today, and he told me that Jimmy Prock really took it upon himself to take a lot of the blame for last week when they made 7 great runs in Richmond, and the 8th run that they made was in the final, and they smoked the tires. He said Jimmy will not make that same mistake again this week. Look for that car to roll.
It is one thing to assure everybody that you're not going to smoke the tires, but when your opponent is 1/10 of a second quicker, you're going to have to get aggressive. Let's go to Allen.
Mac, that's exactly what I'm thinking. The way Doug Coletta's car has been today, so smooth, so consistent. If he can run another 62 or 63, I think he can win this. Of course, keep in mind, I thought Ford could win the other one.
I think you said it best a little bit earlier, Alan, that they have stumbled onto something, or they have thought it out, they being the American International Airways Kitty Hawk team. They're not telling anybody, but they're running strong. Can Coletta withstand the challenge of the 5-time Winston champ? And the answer is no. Joe Amato wins it. 4:69 and 3:13, a slight advantage off the starting line for the second year in a row. Joe Amato and his Tenneco car is in the winner's circle. Close race, even quicker in elapsed time was Doug Coletta. Let's go to Bill.
Jimmy Prock, the crew chief for Joe Amato. Now he's going to take all the credit. He won on a hole shot.
Yeah, that's good. You know, Joe's really stepped up his driving here the last couple races. He's done a great job, and sometimes you got to have that. You know, we were really not the car to beat today, but we'll take it any way we can get it.
You bet. Finally a win for the 5-time Winston champion. Let's take a look at that final again.
And this replay should show you a little bit of an advantage gained by Joe Amato in the far lane. It was just enough to hold him ahead of Doug Coletta. Both cars right on the verge of braking traction. A lot of clutch dust. Slipping the clutch to absorb some of that excess horsepower. Look at the margin of victory, just a couple of feet. As the crew for Joe Amato and the Tenneco team jumps in the air, their fists up high, as Joe Amato has won the second in a row here at the Castrol Lone Star Nationals. Alan Reinhardt is with the winner.
You know, this is a beautiful thing. We've been trying to figure out how we could surprise people with radios for 10 years. Bill Stevens was talking to Jimmy Prock, and Jimmy never told you won the race.
No, they didn't tell me. I kept going on the radio. Who won? Who won? Because I knew he was right alongside of me, you know, and then I got out of the car here, and you came over to me, and I was saying, thank God. And then you told me I won on a hole shot. That's the best of all worlds. It's just...
What a hot rod.
What a bad hot rod. You know, to go down the track all these times for Team Tenneco, Valvoline, PPG, and all my guys at Keystone. Now they can't bust my chops, and I go play golf with them this week about we smoked the tires. That little kid sent us a message that don't smoke the tires, Joey. And, you know, Donna and Seth, they're home, and Seth got first Holy Communion, and maybe God's riding on our side, but we had a little bit of racing luck, and Jimmy Prock and the boys, they did a great job.
Any nerves in the final after last week?
Yeah, especially we go running up there. They told us, first time they told us 5:30, we had to run up there, and I had to jump in the car. All week, all day, my adrenaline was pumping. I've been trying to do a good job driving. I did a good job driving today, and
you made some ground on the McDonald's boys.
Yeah, we got that hot rod from wherever, the hamburger hut I call it from, you know where. But them guys are tough, and it's a good team out there. But, you know, we got a good team here, and we got the world fastest paint on this car from PPG, and Valvoline got the best oil. I was watching Mark Martin. He was a little incentive for me. He was going around winning, so here we are, guys.
And Joe got another one, Mac.
And Joe is on a quest, and that is to win Winston Championship number 5. Well, he's knocking away at Corey Mack's lead. Mike Dunn's in third. Jim Head, number 4. The reigning champion, Gary Selsey, is in the number 5 spot. Let's go down for a final comment to Bill Stevens. William?
Well, this is a sport of streaks. One ended today for Corey Mack. Another one continues for John Force. He is winless in 1998, and maybe another one is beginning. Joe Amato wins today. In 2 weeks, we go to Englishtown, where Joe Amato has won an awful lot of drag races. Alan?
Well, my quick comment doesn't have a whole lot to do with the race. I want to tip the cap to Billy Meyer, the guy who owns the Motorplex and built it. He and his staff always do a great job. They put on a great race. It's a fabulous facility. We just absolutely love coming here. Mac?
We certainly do. I want to make a comment. I think Richie Stevens is coming of age, and look out. He could be a contender indeed in Pro Stock. Can Joe Amato win number 6? Who knows? I wouldn't bet against it. John Force wants number 8. Could well be his. For Bill and Alan, I'm Dave McClellan. So long from Dallas. Coming up next, right here on ESPN2, it is RPM Tonight. The celebration at the far end. Congratulations amongst all of the drivers. ESPN Speed World coverage of the 4th annual Castrol Lone Star Nationals has been a production of Diamond P Sports in association with ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.